Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope you guys are having an awesome morning. So, we are about to get started. This is a live stream, and so I absolutely love being live because I get to interact with all of you. And we also have where you can listen to us on any podcast platform as well. So, really excited about that. You can find us a few places. If you're in the Her Collective HQ Facebook group, you could also interact with us live some days as well. But most of the time, if you just go to YouTube or KeiaValentin.com/live, this is where we usually interact. Okay, awesome. So let's get this party started, guys. All right. So I'm really excited about what we're about to talk about this morning as well. And these mornings, it's just mornings. I feel like in the morning, I just sound so groggy and everything. And I'm just like, people actually like to hear me sounding like this in the morning. But you guys keep showing up. So I guess, we're all good. All right. So most people live a lifestyle by default. They wake up, they respond to the day, respond to obligations, respond to problems, respond to pressure, respond to people's expectations of them. But a rich life requires something different. It requires a lifestyle by design. So this morning, I want to talk to you about the difference between living by default and living a life by design. All right, so I'm Keia, your host and favorite Rich Auntie. I'm really excited about what we're talking about, and that is building a rich life. So that's mostly what this podcast is about. It's about wealth building, entrepreneurship, lifestyle, and personal growth. And one of the biggest shifts people have to make is realizing that the life you're living right now did not just happen by default. It didn't just appear in your life, okay? It was built. It was built either intentionally or accidentally. But at the end of the day, you built this life that you have currently. And I think the beautiful thing about that is if you can build it, you can rebuild it, right? However it is that you want. And so this podcast is all about just being intentional about creating the life that you want. We call it your rich life, right? And whatever that looks like for you. But lifestyle by default happens when life is just happening to you. Okay, it is when you are working constantly, but not knowing why, when you are feeling busy all the time, letting other people's priorities dictate your schedule is another one. Okay, spending money based on your emotions or pressures or even your habits, right? And always feeling behind. That is when you're living a life by default. Okay, a lot of people are running their lives on autopilot. So if you wake up, you just go about your day, you go to bed, you wake up, you do it the next day, and the cycle repeats. And for some of the things, you have no clue why you're doing it. And then for some of it, you're just like, well, this is what I've always done. Then you need to start looking at your life and seeing how you could be intentional. And this is not about, rebuilding all in one moment. And now all of a sudden, tomorrow you start living a life with intention and living a life by design. But what it is just looking at your life and seeing what you can do intentionally each day, right? To make your life better, to design your life in a way you could be proud of. And so a lot of people, they wake up, go to work, handle responsibilities, pay bills, repeat, rinse and repeat, okay? And years go by and they never ask themselves, is this actually the life I want to live? Like, if I could design my life, what would be different from the life that I am currently living? Now, I know some of you are like, girl, we got bills to pay, okay? We got things to do. I get it. Me too. But at the same time, it's like, okay, what steps can you take to do all of that but still maintain a life that you actually want to live, a life that you could genuinely wake up and say, you know what, I love this life. This is how I want to live, or it's at least a little bit closer every day. So this is not about being perfect, but we are always making progress here. All right. So lifestyle by design is intentional. So it's how your days look, it's what you prioritize, your how your money supports your life, what your family experiences. And I know for my household, my husband and I, we're really intentional about the experiences our children have, because we know that they're only going to be so little for so long, right? And we are constantly thinking about, all of the experiences we want to give them, but not just traveling and going on vacation and all of that stuff, but even their daily experiences, their weekly, their monthly experiences, what that looks like. And lately, we've been being even more intentional about it this year. And I think it's just something about looking at your firstborn child hit the age of 10, and your middle child just blossoming into more of who he is. And, just watching your baby look less like a baby every day. It's like when we look at our kids, and because we spend time with them, for many of you who have been listening to me for a while, we homeschool them. It's like, it's something about that really puts things into perspective. So we've been extremely intentional, like a few weeks. So every weekend we try to do something different. So a few Saturdays ago, we did a trail ride. Like, we have a trail here, and we biked it. So all the kids, all of us, we hopped on our bikes and we rode the whole trail. Like, we rode, I can't remember the amount of miles, but it was something ridiculous, especially for little kids. But I mean, these kids were keeping up. They didn't break a sweat. Like, everyone slept good that night though. And so, we were really intentional about giving them that experience. Last weekend, we volunteered at a children's home. There's a children's home called Hope's Children's Home. Oh my gosh, amazing. I am definitely going to put out a reel on everything that they are doing, because they are doing some amazing things. When we went there, us and the kids, we were all so inspired, and we went there with our church as well. Radiant Church, which is a phenomenal church, and we had a I Love My City day, and we do those often, but this was our first time doing one, and we decided to do the children's home, and of course bring our kids, because we were intentional about that experience. So they got to volunteer right alongside us, and let me tell you, just to see them interact with the kids, just to see them take their duties more, responsibly, because we were in charge of feeding everybody. It was such a wonderful thing to see, and I know it's something they will never forget. The experiences, the lessons, everything in that. But man, when I tell you, Hope Children's Home, they have it dialed in and they have it together. I was like, man, if organizations ran like this all around the world, I think we would all be in a much better place. And so, we've been really intentional about those types of experiences, just giving our kids unique experiences. And so for those of you who know me, I'm big on travel. Our family travels all around the world, but local experiences can sometimes be even more valuable, or I should say just as valuable, right? As seeing a new country and getting to interact with new people and learning a culture and stuff like that. It's like sometimes even at home, you could have these unique experiences. And so they are asking me every day, when are we going to go back? When are we going to go back? They made friends, like they did not want to leave. And so man, it's just about being intentional. And that is what living a life by design is. You may not have all of it dialed in, but what would you like to do if you had the life that you wanted, or a great life, or a rich life? Like, what are some of those experiences you would like to have? And, sprinkle those in at first until you could get to a point where you are now living 50% the life you want to live, and then 70, and then 80, and then 100, right? I don't know if anybody ever gets to 100, but I'm pretty sure we could get really close, maybe like 99.9, right? But it's just about being intentional. So designing is about calm mornings for me. I need peace and quiet in the morning. Okay. If my morning is chaotic, it feels like my whole day is going down the drain. So it's those peaceful mornings for me, a business that supports your life instead of consumes it. And entrepreneur to entrepreneur, I get it. Sometimes our business does consume us, right? Especially when we're first getting started or we're working on a new project and we're putting in the sweat equity and the time and the discipline and everything that we have. There's seasons for that, right? But there should come a point where you want your business to run a lot smoother and not to consume you and to run without you, right? And that's all about putting systems in place and stuff like that. And maybe we'll talk a little bit about that later. But the point is that you have a plan and a path forward. Travel and experiences with your family is living a life by design, right? Financial systems that create peace. Your wealth is creating it in a way where you have more of a peaceful life is living a life by design. So lifestyle by design means you stop reacting to life and you start structuring your life. And I'm going to talk a lot about structure, okay? Because if I have to sum up what it is that I do and who it is that I help, I would say that I'm an architect, right? And I help people structure their lives and their businesses. And of course, when we say lives, I also mean your wealth. I'm including it. So your life, your wealth, and your business. That is what I help you structure, right? So in business, I focus mostly on women entrepreneurs. But in life and wealth, I focus on everyone. But if I had to sum me up, I would say I'm an architect, helping you structure your life, create systems in your life to help you live your rich life. All right. So wealth is not just about money, though. So when we talk about wealth, we're not just talking about financial success, but we are talking about options. So wealth is about options in your life, controlling your time, choosing how to work, right? When you want to work, supporting your family, creating experiences. That's what wealth helps you to do. So when I think about wealth, I think about creating options in your life. And money alone does not create a rich life, but money structured well gives you the ability to design one. Okay? So most people never design their lives. Why is that? Because they are busy surviving. They are constantly reacting to problems. They're following patterns they've always seen. They're just doing more of what they're accustomed to. But the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting different results. So what I can tell you as an architect, you have to look at things. You have to see what's working and what's not working, and then you have to change what isn't and keep what is. All right. So patterns like working more, earning more, spending more, staying busy. This is when you're living a life by default. You have no intention whatsoever in your structure. So we need to be intentional about your life systems, your wealth systems, your business systems. All right. And honestly, this is one of the reasons why I created Her HQ. Now, for those of you who don't know what it is, because a lot of women that I know over the years, just working with so many phenomenal entrepreneurs straight across the board, but especially women, they want different. They want financial stability, a business that works, more control over their time, a life that actually feels good to live, but no one has ever shown them how to design it. They have learned from old systems, just ways of going about life, just things they learned as children, just, chugging along, just doing life, just, getting whatever needs to be done, getting done, right? But inside her HQ, we focus on building that structure, creating a clear business model, designing systems in your business, understanding the financial side of entrepreneurship. Because when your income becomes more stable, your life becomes easier to design. And so it starts there. When you're in a chaotic business or a chaotic financial life, it's harder to take control. It's harder to design what you truly want to design. And so that's why I'm so passionate about helping women create these structures and create these systems, because I know that if they can get that together, everything else is going to fall into place. So if you're a woman building a business and you're trying to get consistent income, that's exactly what we focus on in her HQ. Okay. And we have some exciting things coming up this month and next month. And so I encourage you, definitely come and become a part of us and choose to design your life. That is a choice. Choose to put in the time, the energy, and effort and say, you know what? I'm going to be intentional about creating a life. I'm going to be intentional about creating my rich life. And that includes my business, my wealth, and my overall personal growth. All right. So most people live their life by default. That is what it is. And most people will continue, unfortunately, to live their life by default, either because they don't feel like they could change things or because they're deciding not to spend any time, energy, and attention in this area. But not you, right? Not me. That's not us. We're not going to live our life by default. If you've been living your life by default, you're going to decide today, no longer is that going to be your story. Living your life by default, just working to pay bills, just being busy all the time, not knowing why does all this even matter? Like not understanding why you're doing all of this, and you're coming to the conclusion like, dang, I am literally just threading water and surviving out here in these streets. Okay. Like I am really on earth, just going through the hard knock school of earth life. And so, not anymore though. You're going to be intentional about your life. You're going to be intentional about what it is that you want, and you're going to decide, and you're going to start designing the life that you truly want. So, no longer are you going to say that, oh, that's just life. You're going to say, no, I'm going to design how it is that I want to live. You're going to stop reacting. You're going to stop responding. And you're going to stop surviving. You're no longer going to be the ostrich that just sticks their head in the mud or in the sand, and everything is happening around them, and they literally are just looking at what's underneath it all, right? Just paying attention to inside the ground. No, you're going to pluck your head out of the sand. You're going to look around. You're going to see the beautiful oasis that awaits you, and you're going to build a life and build a bridge towards that. All right. A rich life requires something different. It requires you to do different things. It requires you to stop following the path of insanity and actually being intentional. It requires intention at the end of the day. So it requires asking yourself some questions, or like I like to say, some better questions. All right. What kind of life do I want to live? What do I want my days to look like? What kind of experiences do I want for me and my family? Those are the kind of questions you're going to ask yourself, and then you're going to structure your life around those answers. Okay, so lifestyle by default is when life happens to you. Lifestyle by design is when you decide how you want life to feel and how you genuinely want to live your life. And that's what we're building, a rich life. And that is what it's really about. And so if you're someone that you're saying, you know what, why am I here? I am not here to just pay bills and die. That is not going to be my story. Then I encourage you to start doing different. And for ladies building a business, come and join us in her HQ. So I hope you guys enjoyed this morning with me. I hope that you enjoy every morning, because I definitely enjoy every morning with you. And I hope to see you next Thursday where we talk about more. So you guys have a wonderful morning. All right. God bless.